Welcome back, everybody. So today I am going to talk to you about what I am going to be reading in the month of November. Now, this will actually be the first time that I make a TBR video where I don't have all these books physically yet, and that will make sense in just a few minutes. First thing, Jesus, my mic. So the first thing I'm going to read is Tyrant's Throne, which is book 4 of the Greatcoat series by Sebastian de Castell. So if you've been following this series or this read along over with Mike's channel, a lot of us were pretty mixed on Saint's Blood. Some people said it was their favorite. Myself and a lot of others did not like it very much. I thought this was a severe step down from books 1 and 2. It got very convoluted. I didn't like the direction that it took. And overall, just kind of felt like a side quest to the main story instead of furthering the main story, as I feel like it should have. So I'm really hoping that since this is a 4-book arc, that this book gets back on track, really progressing the main story that we were building towards through the first 2 books, and is more fun. I almost felt like I've laughed through all these books, right? But Traitor's Blade was hilarious. Night Shadow had some incredibly dark moments, but also hilarious moments. Saint's Blood had significantly less comedy, in my opinion. The direction that the book took, all that stuff, I just didn't vibe with. So what I'm really hoping is this is a return to form for the series, and I end up liking this a lot more, and it wraps it up nicely, because based on what happened in book 3, I have no idea what to expect from book 4 now. I kind of had a feeling of where the arc was going, and then it was like, okay, here we're building to the story, and then Saint's Blood happened. So now I'm hoping that we come back and finish with Tyrant's Throne. So, I mean, as far as the writing style of the book and all of that, it's still fun and engaging, but I really hope that he knocks it out of the park with this one, because I need more of the dynamic of Falkio, Kest, and Brasti having more fun together, joking a lot, which I, again, was missing from book 3. I feel like, or I hope that the arc and the trajectory of the story gets on track to a point where we actually get to a satisfying ending, and it's not more of what we had in book 3, because I will be very disappointed, because this series started on such a high note for me. I loved books 1 and 2, and then 3 not so much. So I'm really hoping that was just kind of like the middle book syndrome. We're getting to book 4, it's going to be great, and I end up loving the series again, because I'm a little shaky on it. I don't know what to expect. Unless this book flops hard, I would highly recommend the series. It's a lot of fun. It is not something I would take super seriously. It's relatively low magic, very Three Musketeers-ish, a lot of comedy, a lot of close combat, small kind of scale battles. There's no massive, epic, 1,000-person on 1,000-person fights. There's no, whatever you saw from like Game of Thrones on the show. There's no Red Rising massive space battles, anything insane like that. This is very, very much more a grounded fantasy, not necessarily a low fantasy, but it definitely just feels like Earth plus a little bit of magic at times. So really looking forward to book 4, wrapping it up nicely. It's the largest book. It is, I believe, over 600 pages. That did not benefit Saint's Blood, so I'm hoping it does here, and we get a solid conclusion that I can be happy about. So the second book of November that I'll be reading is not Rage of Dragons, but I don't have Fires of Vengeance in hand, so I'll put a picture right here instead. But this cover is gorgeous, and I absolutely adore this book. And for those of you watching that understand it, Team Iron Man. So Rage of Dragons was one of my surprise favorite books of the year so far. When I read it, I picked it up kind of on a whim at a bookstore when I was somewhere for work before the world went insane, and I really, really loved it. I love action-packed fantasy. I love the training sequences that you go through in this. I love just the kind of the breakneck speed and pace and violence that this book went through, and from what I understand, we're getting mostly more of the same with Fires of Vengeance. I'm hoping that we get a little bit more world building and expanding the universe more. I know this is going to be 4 or 5 books, so he has plenty of time to build on what was set up in book 1. But book 1 was very much a small scope in the story that it wanted to tell, and told it very well, in my opinion. It was a true page turner from chapter to chapter. This is probably one of the quickest reads that I had, just because it was so, like, it was so gripping, and I just kept wanting to read more and more that I didn't want to put it down. So I'm hoping to get more of that from Fires of Vengeance, while building on Tao's character, expanding him a little bit more, giving him more of a dynamic feel, and more than just being a rage monster, which he was basically through the entire of book one. Kind of letting his rage cloud all other judgment, throwing other people's lives in danger. All of that I hope he learns from, and doesn't completely change in book two, but become a little bit more dynamic of a character, because I felt like he was kind of an idiot in a lot of book one, and I know that's some people's major complaints about this book, is that Tao is just not a likable main character. I get it. He's not the most likable character. He makes a lot of dumb decisions. I found it personally fun to follow his character, and I don't feel like his motivations were forced at the start. Maybe throughout the entirety of the book, I could understand why some people would say, was that really enough of a drive for you the entire book? But I was very engaged with this. I loved the writing style. I was fine being thrown into a fantasy world that was totally, Wild Wild West to me, with the African setting. I mean, I saw people complaining about words being thrown at you. Like, you guys know you're reading fantasy, right? Like, that's a thing that happens in fantasy. They just throw a ton of words at you and you don't know what any of it means. Happens a lot in sci-fi too. I just read Dune. They throw all kinds of shit at you that you're just like, what does this word mean? You'll learn it eventually. So that doesn't bother me. I loved the way that the magic system was set up. I loved the whole... I'm not going to spoil it because you haven't read Rage of Dragons. I do have a review up here. It's pretty old, so the quality's probably not great. But I love the way that the magic system was set up. I loved how Tao trained and got to the point that he did in the book. I guess some real negatives that I hope he improves on is I don't need any more love scenes. They were kind of cringe. I want to see, like I said, more world building, more expanding on everything. If it stays a smaller scope, that's fine. I would personally just like to see it expanding scope, because if it stays like a smaller scale story based on book one, I feel like it might get repetitive. So hopefully he expands on that while including the same action-packed, page-turning, adrenaline rush that Rage of Dragons was. And I will love it again, because I absolutely loved book one. I am currently halfway through Oathbringer. This thing is almost 1,300 pages long, and I'm pretty sure Rhythm of War is longer. If not, well, I don't know. I'm going to try to get a head start with the preview chapters and the Audible stuff that Sanderson has on his channel on YouTube. But November is going to be first Dawnshard, if I get it in time. I did not do the Kickstarter because I just wasn't that interested in having a novella that he was kind of writing as he went. Just kind of created it for Kickstarter. So then, of course, I missed it. I think Dawnshard's up to like a 57,000 word novella already, when it was supposed to be way shorter than that. So it's not necessarily going to be that fast of a book. I mean, that's longer than Edge Dancer. So my plan is to do Tyrant's Throne, and then day one, get Fires of Vengeance, read that before Rhythm of War gets here, on the 17th, 24th, whatever day it is. They're a week apart. I keep reading these dates. Fires of Vengeance starts on the 10th. That's when I'm going to have it. I'm going to read that before the Rhythm of War gets here on the 17th. I don't know when I'm going to fit Dawnshard in, to be honest. It might have to be after Rhythm of War. Oops. I mean, I'm not going to have it before that. So unless there's some other way to get it early, or it gets here, a week or so before, I will fit it in before Rhythm of War. But Rhythm of War is the main attraction in November. And it is definitely bumping The Burning God off of my November TBR, which I ended up not reading Dragon Republic in time anyway, so it's fine. Because whose idea was it to put The Burning God on the same day as Rhythm of War? Like, do you care about your sales of the book? It's probably going to do okay, but, like, Stormlight is the thing right now. That's like putting your movie out on the same day as an Avengers movie. I don't understand it. If I have any time left in November, I might fit in, like, Emperor's Soul or something, because it's super short. I also wanted to read Ready Player 2. I doubt that I'm going to get to that by the end of November. Rhythm of War is going to take a while. That's probably going to be a 2-week read, at least 10 days at the very fastest. So if I get to it, if I have any time left, Dawnshard, Emperor's Soul, and Ready Player 2, depending on how long it is. Because, like I said, Rhythm of War is going to be a big-ass book. That is what I'm reading in November. But I do definitely want to know what you all are reading. How many of you are going to be reading Rhythm of War on day one? Drop in the comments. Respond to the pinned comment down there. Let me know if you're going to be reading it on day one and how long you think you're going to need to get through it. I know I've been talking with several people in Discord. People are taking, a week off of work to read it. Some people are saying they're going to read it in a sitting. That's insane. Some other people that read very, very fast, much faster than me, could probably read it 3 times by the time I finish it once. So best of luck to you all. And I hope everybody enjoys it and it kicks a lot of ass, as I'm sure it will. But that's going to do it for the video. So as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. Please hit up the Patreon if you do want to support the channel. It does help me out. Always optional. Hop in Discord, though, and continue the conversation with me. We have a growing community still. A lot of us in there pretty active, talking on a daily basis. We have a never-ending battle of server rank and level, which I have been dethroned by my patron Nick, who will probably now keep the #1 spot, and I'm just going to tumble down the list. So, congratulations. That's going to do it for me, guys. So, until next time, keep reading.